So now that we're done with Misery Mire, we gotta figure out where Turtle Rock is located. Looking at our map, we only have one location left marked, so logic dictates that that would most likely be where Turtle Rock is. And that area is the Dark World equivalent of Death Mountain, which is also called Death Mountain. Huh. Although technically the Light World equivalent is supposed to be Mount Hebra, but this didn't get translated over, and before you say it, no, it is not the Tower of Hebra, it is still the Tower of Hera. So we still have no idea who Hera is in the Zelda universe. Anyways, before we go looking for Turtle Rock, I've been secretly checking out my Dark World equivalent who's busy selling bombs for what I can only hope is peaceful reasons between dungeons. I don't know why, but I just don't trust my evil counterpart. So far, he's only had standard issue bombs, but now he has a Super Bomb! The Super Bomb is a big orange bomb which creates a massive explosion. Yeah, you'd be feeling that one in the morning. Just whatever you do, don't jump off a ledge, otherwise, you'll have a premature detonation. I swear, babe, this has never happened to me before. So, we're going to use a bomb with such a payload? Why, at the Pyramid of Power, of course. Remember that crack we couldn't open earlier? Well, let's see if it'll stay shut after we drop a nuke on it. Ah, nice. Got it open and only had 70,000 fatalities as a result from the blast. Inside of the pyramid, we find a pond, and it asks if we want to throw anything into it. I remember this. I'll throw my sword in and see what happens. Suddenly, a whoa, goodness, Rubenesque woman appears and asks if we drop this. Yep, that's my sword, all right. She says that she likes an honest person, then hands us back a better sword. The Golden Sword, which is the final upgrade for the Master Sword. How in the world do they keep improving this thing? The Golden Sword is twice as strong as the Tempered Sword, making it 4 times stronger than the base Master Sword. Talk about having power in the palm of your hands. Why in the world does it state I can feel it throbbing? There is one other object that can be upgraded by the... Look, the game called her Fat Fairy, so I'm going to call her Fat Fairy. And she can upgrade the bow and arrow, which she tells us that what she's going to be giving us is something important. These are the silver arrows. To give Ganon his last moment, you definitely need them. Well, I'll try not to lose them. I know I don't quite have the figure of a fairy. What? No! Personally, I prefer bigger girls. Ganon's cruel power is to blame. You must defeat Ganon. Why in the world would Ganon waste time making a fairy obese? He is just truly evil, I guess. Anyways, we now have these silver arrows, which double the power of normal arrows and are the things that can deliver the coup de grace on Ganon. Glad I can fix that mistake from the original Legend of Zelda. Truly, I should let someone just edit my scripts. Well, might as well move on to Death Mountain. Man, it's too bad that the flute doesn't work in the Dark World. I could really use the fast travel to the mountain right now. It would be pretty weird if it turns out that we could use the flute to call the duck in the Dark World, especially considering the fact that it lives in the Light World. Anyways, we can explore more of the mountain now thanks to all the items we have acquired. We can even find more teleportation panels to the Dark World around here. Maybe if we climb up the mountain here, we could get to the 7 mark on the map. Boy, this is an odd mountain. The amount of times I need to fall to move forward is a bit concerning. Take a leap of faith, I suppose. Eventually we'll get to the top of the mountain and find a giant boulder. Lifting the boulder reveals a staircase, inside of which we find a cave, where we find a gap in the bridge. Obviously, if we use the ether medallion here, it can show us the layout of an invisible bridge, because boy have we done that so many times by now. Eventually we find ourselves on top of a plateau, which if we head over to the light world, we can find a piece of heart, the penultimate one in the game. Anyways, what were we doing? Right, looking for Turtle Rock. Continuing to explore the upper mountains in the Dark World, we can find a bunch of Lynels. It is amazing to me how much easier it is to defeat these guys compared to, well, you know. Eventually we'll stumble across that tower we first saw way back when we first got the Master Sword. But we can't seem to enter it. There seems to be some type of mystical barrier protecting it. I think I remember hearing that Ganon's hiding place is protected by a barrier, so this must be Ganon's hiding place. We'll have to come back here once we've rescued Zelda. Going to the opposite end of the mountain, we can find a rock in the shape of a turtle. Now stay with me now, but I think this might be Turtle Rock. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any way to get inside. You know what we do now, let's go check out the light world. In the light world, we can actually get on top of this plateau where there seems to be 3 pegs set up. I wonder what happens if we hit them in the shape of a triangle. Why a triangle? Do I have to explain it? Hitting the pegs in this order causes a teleportation pad to appear. Hitting them in any other order causes your dad to stop loving you. I cry every time. Re-entering the Dark World, we find a symbol similar to the one we found in Misery Mire, but this one has the Quake Medallion symbol on it. Might as well cause an earthquake. Feel like we haven't done enough damage yet. Alright, with the entrance revealed, it's time to enter Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock is insane. In this dungeon, you need to use the Cane of Samaria to create platforms to move you around. You also have to guide their direction from time to time. Also, there are chain chomps from Mario in here because why not? You'll eventually come to this room which is filled with pipes, which you need to traverse in order to progress. I am playing a Zelda game, right? Anyways, in this pipe maze, you can find the big key, and the pipe maze will bring us to this room with a couple of Hokubokus. I'm mainly calling them out because I love their name, and I love setting them on fire. Going through a T intersection, you eventually come to a room filled with laser eyes. Ah, jerks, that hurt. Quickly, let's bomb this wall and head outside. You know, I bet you there's a light world ledge here. Aha, I knew it. And inside of this cave, we can find the final piece of heart. I am complete! Although I suppose I need the heart container from this dungeon before I can say that. Heading back to the Dark World, we can head inside and get the big chest, which holds the item of this dungeon, the Mirror Shield. The Mirror Shield is the most powerful shield, and it will block the laser eyeballs. Haha, can't hurt me with your evil stares anymore. Ah, jeez. Anyways, the rest of this dungeon is pretty straightforward until you get to this room in the dark, where you have to move a platform around in the dark and try to find some random platform so that you can open a door on the other side of the room. Don't worry, you're likely to be burned by a fire bar from Mario before that ever happens. What is with all the references to Mario in this dungeon? Is it because it's Turtle Rock? And Mario, well, he doesn't have the greatest track record with turtles. Anyways, you'll eventually come to this room, which is filled with laser eyes, but thankfully you can dash straight through them. I hate this place. And then you gotta open a chest to get another key, where you are likely to be shot in the back by a laser eye. Oh boy, a switch block maze. Thank goodness for the magic boomerang. But once you get through that maze, you are presented with one of the most ominous moments in this game. Traveling on a floating platform across a bottomless pit, which brings you straight to the boss chamber. And the boss of this monumental dungeon is Trinex. Trinex is a 3-headed turtle, which seems to be covered in hard rocks. 2 of the heads breathe ice and fire, where the ice one can make the floor slippery. Oh, bringing ice physics into the fight. Truly, you have made an enemy for life here, Trinex. Also, the middle head is able to snipe you from anywhere in the room with its patented extendo neck. So, how do we defeat this terrible turtle? Well, you remember the ice rod that we got all the way back after completing the Eastern Palace? Remember how I said I would point out when it would be required? Well, this is where it is required. I am not joking. Man, we've really been sitting on this one, huh? You need to use a combination of the ice and fire rods to stun the opposite heads. So for those of you that are confused on what opposites are, use the ice rod to freeze the red head and use the fire rod to incinerate the blue head. And if you don't know your colors, look, I can only help you so much. Once the head is stunned, you can swipe at it with your sword and eventually it will cause the head to explode. Once you defeat both heads, it causes Trinex to curl up and what do you know, he explodes. Well, that was an interesting boss fight. Oh, but it's not over yet as Trinex transforms into a snake and begins to dart around the room. You gotta take the lessons we've learned in this game thus far and attack his shiny balls. Eventually, you'll hit him enough and he'll explode, leaving behind the final heart container. At last, I'm at full power. And then the final crystal drops and inside we find Princess Zelda. And she tells us that she appreciates us coming so far to rescue her. As I thought, you are the legendary hero. My money's still on the bug-catching boy. Ganon is waiting inside of his tower to pass through the gate linking the 2 worlds. Once Ganon enters the light world, it is unlikely that anyone can stop him. If that's true, then what makes you think we can stop him in the dark world? But if he stays in the closed space of this world, you can find him wherever he runs. Oh, so in the light world he'd be able to just run away from us like a sniveling little coward. But here we could bully him to death. Once again, why do we think he'll be unstoppable in the light world? Now, go to the Tower of Ganon. We will use our combined powers to break the barrier. Let's return peace to the country without fail. Do you understand? I mean, I guess so.